Hi, I'm Bob. Welcome back to 5-Minute Econometrics. Today, we will explore the process of conducting an event study using a dummy variable. We often use dummy variables in regression models. A dummy variable is also called a binary variable or an indicator variable. It takes only two values, 0 and 1. A dummy variable can represent two different features of individuals, such as being female or male, being married or unmarried, being a union member or not, living in a metropolitan area or not, etc. An event study is an econometric method used to assess the impact of a specific event on the outcome. We use a dummy variable in an event study. In an event study, the dummy variable serves as an explanatory variable in the model to represent a particular event. If the event occurs, the dummy variable takes the value 1, and it equals 0 otherwise. In an event study, the goal is to see whether a particular event significantly affects the outcome variable. To carry out an event study using a dummy variable, follow these steps. In the first step, we clearly define the event we are analyzing, such as the outbreak of a war, an increase in the minimum wage, or a change in legislation. In the second step, we create a dummy variable. Construct a dummy variable that indicates the event occurrence. The dummy variable takes the value 1 after the event and 0 before the event. In the third step, we collect data to analyze the event's impact. The data usually came from a short interval during which the event occurred. In the fourth step, we estimate the model. The outcome variable is regressed on the dummy variable and other control variables. We can use the OLS estimation method and other modeling strategies to determine whether the event has a causal effect on the outcome. We have a sample of Kentucky workers. In 1980, Kentucky raised the cap on weekly earnings that were covered by workers' compensation. An increase in the cap does not affect the benefit for low-income workers, but it makes it less costly for a high-income worker to stay on workers' compensation. We want to know whether the change in the compensation policy influences the length of time an injured worker receives workers' compensation. We have data on high-income workers in Kentucky. The outcome variable is the log of the length of staying in the compensation. We use a dummy variable after change to indicate the change of the policy. It equals 1 for observations after the policy change and 0 for those before the change. Here's the regression model. We regress the log of the length of staying out of work on the dummy variable after change and other control variables such as gender, age, and the type of industry. In Stata, we use the if qualifier to restrict the model to Kentucky high-income workers because the policy change only affected them. The estimated coefficient for the dummy variable is 0.205, suggesting that the average length of time on workers' compensation for high-income workers increased by about 20.5% due to the higher earnings cap after controlling for other factors. A commonly used identification strategy in policy analysis is the difference in differences modeling method. We are concerned that the length of time staying in compensation may change over time, even without the policy change. To isolate the pure effect of the policy change, we need to remove that trend. The low-income workers were not affected by the policy change. We assume the trend in compensation duration is identical for both high and low-income workers. Using two dummy variables to indicate the policy change and the type of workers, and constructing an interaction term between them, we can apply the difference in differences method to a broader sample including both high-income and low-income workers in Kentucky. Please check out my other difference in differences topics. I have posted links below. The estimate for the effect of the policy change becomes slightly smaller, 0.200. Implies an increasing trend in the length of time without policy change. After removing the trend, the policy change's pure effect becomes slightly smaller. Today, we briefly discussed how to use dummy variables in an event study. I hope it helps. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon. Take care. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.